Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Friday as we head into the weekend where the cryptocurrency market is the most manipulated due to CME futures being closed. No institutions are making bets and it's all retail. I had to get this update out to you guys right now. I was holding off on making this video to see Bitcoin's daily candle close and how we're going to open up. But notice how on the daily chart, we have yet to get above 38,000 US dollars with yesterday's candle high at 38,000 on the dot. You guys know all of the price levels on the Snipers channel are extremely accurate. And so I'm going to talk about what I'm expecting this weekend. And for those inside of this short group, we took a ton of trades today. We're going to cover some of those trades and why there is a good chance we could see a test above 38,000, what that's going to mean. But what's more important is the bulls not just conquering 38,000, but for us to start seeing liquidity not just flow into Bitcoin, but other altcoins to rescue the total market cap. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Bitcoin's intraday analysis. If we go into what's happening here on the 3-hour chart, notice how 38,000 is clearly a major resistance level right now. We have yet to see any full 4-hour or hourly candles close above 38,000 US dollars since we came below this level. And so, of course, this range above 38,000 is where we need to see price action if we want to assume any bullishness in the immediate short term. But more importantly, if we want to assume that Bitcoin will not see any further downside from this $33,000 level. For those that have been tuned into the Cypress channel, I'm going to quickly remind you why 33,000 was such an important level. If we look at this chart here, on the macro, this is the third time that we're testing this market structural channel support at 33,000. That's how we predicted this exact target months ago that Bitcoin was going to potentially come and test this level. And so now that we've tested the level, the question is, did we bottom out at this area? Well, of course, we can't predict everything on the exact dot, but what we could do is look at how the markets outside of Bitcoin are reacting to the Fed's announcement on Wednesday that interest rates are going to start rising in March and so forth. That's why this is a 4-dimensional channel. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you guys love the 4-dimensional analysis. And so here's some puzzle pieces that I want to talk about today as we head into the weekend. I believe there is a strong likelihood Bitcoin is going to be able to get above 38,000. I'm going to tell you exactly why I believe that's the case. Notice how so far when it comes to institutional volume, every time we've come below 34,788, we've seen not just institutional volume, but we've seen retail spikes of buy volume. And that has caused us to even see 6-hour institutional volume, which has been something that we've been looking for Bitcoin since we topped out at 69,000. We finally were able to get this 6-hour volume here that surpasses and equates to the amount of sell pressure that we've recently seen. We have not seen that since the $69,000 top. And so that tells me that the likelihood Bitcoin could consolidate for a elongated amount of time above 34,708 is becoming highly likely. And the reason I say that is because every time you see these type of institutional spikes of buy volume, it typically sets the bottom for the asset for at least the immediate short term. Sometimes even the medium term, you can say maybe a month or so. And here's the craziest thing about all of this. For those in the Discord, we took a ton of altcoin trades today, but we also took trades in the traditional markets. ARK Innovation ETF, Coinbase Global, Airbnb, Tesla, Snapchat, and Beyond Meat Company, right? Why did we take all of these trades today? All of them hitting price targets above 2% on the intraday trade, and they're all swing trades aiming for 30%. Because we saw a very nice bounce in traditional markets to end the day today. This is a very positive puzzle piece. The S&P 500 with a bullish daily candle close. Notice how the 6-hour previous to our last 6-hour candle that closed had a bullish tail pointing towards the upside. And then, of course, on the daily chart, we got this bullish close with this very nice daily candle. Wick looks like it wants to get above this 200-day moving average. And it wasn't just the S&P 500. A lot of individual stocks, which is why we took trades today, did the same exact thing. Coinbase potentially double bottoming here. ARK's Innovation ETF potentially double bottoming here. If we go into the Airbnb chart, you can see potential bullish daily candle to come into Monday. And then most importantly, by the way, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin against the money supply right now. But I'm going to first talk about what's happening here to international markets as well, because Japan was a big puzzle piece yesterday. We were up 2% to close the daily candle, which was a very nice rescue operation to just test this 100-week moving average. And so it looks like the puzzle pieces ending Friday is in the favor of the bulls coming into the weekend. That's the main point of what I'm trying to tell you guys right now. So the fact of the matter is, if we start to see price action above 38,000, what is the potential price target for Bitcoin? Of course, 41,950 is going to be that first level of resistance, but just getting above 38,000 is so important right now, because if that happens, we could potentially assume 33,000 was a short-term to medium-term bottom, and that would be extremely positive for Bitcoin to potentially even move up to 44,800, and then of course 49,700. Those are the three most important resistance levels if we get above 38,000. An hourly and 4-hour candle closing above 38,000 confirms 41,950, 44,800, and then 49,700 as the three potential upside targets for Bitcoin. And that's why, for those in the Discord, once again, we also took a swing trade for Bitcoin around the $35,000 level when we first came down to test that area. But now let's quickly look at some very interesting dynamics of this market, like Bitcoin's chart against the M2 money supply. The reason this chart's so important is, notice how in July and June of 2021, when Bitcoin initially saw the high at 64,000 and came down to see a major correction, we ended up stopping at the previous all-time highs from 2017 pretty much when it comes to the charts that factor in the money supply against Bitcoin's price. Now, why is this important? Well, what is Bitcoin's main thesis, right? It's the fact that it's a hedge against inflation, and with the M2 supply increasing so much through 2020 and 2021, of course, that was a huge thesis for Bitcoin to see upside. And so it's very smart to look at markets against the M2 supply. And here's something extremely interesting that I have found on the charts for you guys. And that's not just Bitcoin against the M2 supply, but look at the S&P 500 against the M2 supply, closing the week to test the 200-week moving average for the first time since the early parts of 2021. And why is this important? Because this was a garden variety retest of an extremely important accumulation zone where we typically start to see institutional volume come in and dollar cost average into the market alongside retail traders. And that was a huge puzzle piece to close the week, because we got the test of the 200-week with the S&P 500 against the M2 supply. And that to me says that there's a potential bottom here for traditional markets, or at least that we're close to a bottom. If we see price action below the 200-week moving average, that can indicate something a lot more severe, like what happened in March of 2020. So we don't want to see this 200-week moving average break, or the S&P 500 is in jeopardy of seeing further downside. And so ending the week so strong, in my opinion, I think that that's going to give Bitcoin a very solid opportunity to test higher prices. And if we go and we look at what's happening here to the Bitcoin price, once again, if we get confirmations above 38,000, which it looks like we might get, 41,950 becomes the next upside target for Bitcoin. And with Coinbase and a lot of these traditional market stocks showing a lot of upside to close the week, I wouldn't see why that is off the table for Bitcoin to see a nice short-term relief rally. But the most important thing is, once we get above 38,000, is we want to hold 38,000 as a support level for the macro. That's going to be an extremely important thing for Bitcoin to get above this range, get into the $38,000 level, and then stay above 38,000. So that's what I'm going to be monitoring. For those that are tuned into the channel, you know we're going to continue to monitor the price for you guys. And then beyond that, I do want to talk about how altcoins are reacting. Ethereum going to follow Bitcoin for the most part, but the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart actually doing well at 65,000 Satoshis. So far, we're seeing descending volume here. And so that's a very positive sign, because that means we'll probably see volume soon. Hopefully it's a big green candle to see Ethereum to Bitcoin come back towards the resistance of the symmetrical triangle that it's in. That's going to be a very positive sign for altcoins. So what this tells me is that with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart maintaining 65,000 Satoshis, still inside of the symmetrical triangle, that we're not seeing a full-on bear market right now in the total market cap. Bitcoin still is yet to breach the July and June lows at 29 and 28,000. So far, we just have a higher low. Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, I wouldn't say is bearish at this point. It's not the best that we're coming below the resistance of that symmetrical triangle, but we're at least staying inside of the triangle, staying above 65,000 Satoshis. Another bullish puzzle piece. It looks like the fuel has exhausted for Ethereum to Bitcoin. It needs to see upside at this point if we don't want to assume a long-term bear market. But ending the week with traditional markets so strong, congratulations for those that took some of these trades today. I think that that's a very positive sign for Saturday and Sunday for Bitcoin to potentially come back above 40,000. And the first sign of that is going to be a confirmation above 38,000. Once we get that, that's when we're going to potentially see upside here for Bitcoin, and then maintaining 38,000 as a support is going to be a huge deal. And with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuned into the channel. I'm at one of my girlfriend's complex here. I'm going to go see her in just a sec. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm so we can hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. We actually already hit 50,000. And with that being said, I do pay attention, but at the same time, it's not my priority to just gain subscribers. My priority is to serve you guys with the best content on a daily basis. And so let's hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. Every like counts. And with that, thank you all for tuning in today, and enjoy your weekend. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Very nice puzzle pieces to close the week. And with that, I do want to quickly show you guys what's happening here to the DXY, because we talked about the DXY moving yesterday. You can see we did kind of get above this major resistance that would concern me above 97, but we didn't see any decisiveness above this area. I think it'd be better to just pull up this daily chart to show you guys how we reacted here. So you can see we're just seeing garden variety resistance at a major area, and so nothing yet to really go home and tell grandma about with the DXY, but we are testing a major resistance. We move above that level, that could change some of the dynamics in the market for the medium to long term, because that's a macro structural resistance from 2011. If you watched our video yesterday, I talked about that. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. I have a new iPhone, by the way, so quality of the content should be a little bit better here, and I'll see you guys next time, tomorrow. Snipers.